Hello everyone! Today's video is going to be about the puzzle that I actually saw during solving Puzzle Rush survival mode. And what's so interesting about this puzzle, I had score around 43, 44. Usually in this area I solve exercises pretty quickly, like around few seconds. And right here, unless there is an exception, and right here there was an exception because I got the puzzle that really forced me to think a lot longer. And I'm gonna try to, it's not that difficult, it is possible to solve it, but it's just hard to believe that the solution is quite complicated for this level. And just to prove my point, later I will show you that exercises that happened later were way easier, and this task deserves a rating way more than it is. And by the way, the current rating of this puzzle that I'm gonna show on chess.com 2355 or 65 or something like that, and that's not much. So normally the tasks with such ratings are quite easy. So let's begin. And the task here you can see on your screens. The number of the task, I believe it's like 12538, so you can Google it on chess.com, it's not that difficult. So let's start. What we can see on the board. White is up a pawn, black behind in development, but white has just taken on e4, or just played knight e4, I have no really idea. Yeah, probably just something took on e4, probably it was a pawn. And let's try to solve this exercise. You can stop the video and try to figure out it on your own, but first move is very logical. You can do it just by hand because we can see that there are two attackers on the knight on e4, there is only one defender, therefore we can easily take. And that's what I successfully did, thinking that this task will last again another 2 seconds and I will easily proceed to the next one. But no, it wasn't that easy, because like computer or program of chess.com showing me the move queen d5, and this move is super powerful. It's really strong. It's possible to find it like in 1 minute thinking, but like generally when you solve such exercise in Puzzle Rush you just can play knight e4 by hand. So what's the problem with queen d5? The problem is that it attacks the knight on c6, threatening then different forks, different checks, and ideas like this. Also, the knight is hanging, so we're about to lose the knight over there. So let's start thinking. Again, you can stop the video, and if you got in Puzzle Rush more than 40, you can definitely try to solve it. It is possible. If you're on the beginner level, you can just take a look, enjoy the video, try to understand it, but it's probably gonna be quite difficult to solve. So, the first thought that comes to mind, okay, forced moves, what forced moves do we have in the position? And it is knight c3. So we can take, let's say, knight c3. What our opponent can do, obviously take right here, it's a check, we have nothing to do, and after check it looks like it completely doesn't work. Just not to, make it more messy with a lot of arrows, I'm gonna show. Right now it's a fork, and it looks like it's definitely not working, because if I play bishop d7, for example, then there is a queen a8 check, we lose the rook first, and then after king e7, bc, we lose everything. Without an exchange, position really sucks. And let's say if queen c6, what else we have? King e7, possible, yes. Our rook is hanging, that's true. But if you pay enough attention and if you notice everything, there is a great check for white, which is bishop c5, which is very easy to miss. And I gave this task to one of the students, somebody fall for this trap, because bishop c5 is not the most obvious move. That's the reason why you solving different exercises or calculating something during the game, you need to focus on the best force moves of your opponent just to avoid such trouble. And king d8 from the first look kind of looking dubious. So at least I didn't consider it in the first in the first queue, because bc is the move, queen a8 is the move, so we will come back, by the way, later to this position, but that at least was my thinking process. After queen d5, what we have else? We have some weird moves, I don't know, moving the knight somewhere, but it's pretty hard to consider something rather than knight c3 if we talk about attacking moves. There are moves like f5 or something like this, but they're rather lame. Of course, logically speaking, and in the game, if you don't really know what the solution position is, the temptation is very high to play bishop d7. And honestly speaking, I don't see anything wrong with this move, because you reinforce the knight, you're like the main powerful, terrifying threat of giving some forks, checks, and destroying your castle. But then after, let's say, knight e4, because queen e4 definitely favors us, we have an extra pawn. And yeah, we have an extra pawn, it should be enough to get some good position. And after knight e4, we can try to go castle long, our king is safe, position looks better, although engine gives it around equality. Just a spoiler for the future. And in general, moves like bishop d7, we already won the knight, right now we want to give up the knight, therefore why did we really do it for? Because with such success going back here, we could play bishop e7 or whatever, probably not the good move, but still. The same fate probably with queen d6, because after queen d6 we kind of offer in a trade, we up material, which is good. If our opponent takes us right here, we can take back, pretty easily attacking the bishop, saving the knight, so white kind of forced to take right here, and we can continue development, and it still looks like we are better. But yeah, again, game goes on, and we only up a pawn. So for these reasons, I kind of couldn't believe that this is really working. So what else we have left? Not so many options. As I said, we might consider sum of 5 and again go for some complications like this, giving up some exchange, or maybe there are some like other tricky moves, but I decided to go back to knight c3. And after bishop takes c6, we don't really have king e7 move still, and therefore we can eliminate mostly options. It's possible to dig deeper in this bishop d7 position, but nothing works. So there is a king d8 move, the only remaining one. And I mean, it looks already suspicious, and even though subconsciously I understand it should be a right solution because it looks quite reasonable and logical, but I mean, finding all these tiny details to stay alive, and even though the final position will be completely unclear, kinda, I mean, put some doubt in my head. So, right here, what are options? Option number 1, taken right here. Option number 2, taken right here. Option number 3, I don't know, giving some check, but I mean, it's not really serious. If we start with BC, position looks super scary, because our rook is hanging and queen is hanging. Oh, sorry, I just spoiled everything. But yeah, what I was thinking is there is a queen b7 move, which kind of protects them both, but it looks highly suspicious because it's a rook d1, bishop d6, it barely like works, because it's like some bridge who's, I don't know, hundreds of years, it's like from wood, it just swinging left, right, everywhere, up and down, and it's like super spooky to go on it. But yeah, somehow it works. I checked something like this, so we have bishop d7. Also later on it turned out that bishop b7 was also an option, trying to betray our queen but take queen of the opponent at the same time, because the check still doesn't work because of bishop d6 idea. So yeah, bc doesn't work, and then after queen a8, what we got in the position, we have 2 pieces for rook and the pawn, which from initial position when we had just an extra pawn doesn't distinguish a lot, because yeah, it's like we still kind of up a pawn, because 2 minor pieces cost 6 pawns, rook cost 5 pawns, and our king right here is in a very, like, I don't know, in some horror movie, threads are here and there and stuff like this. And yeah, first I thought there is knight e2, but probably it's a one-way ticket for the knight, because we cannot go back with him, because there is a threat of c3 creating a fork. We can try to go back somewhere else, but I mean, still rook d1 is a threat, we're about to lose the pawn. And then I like went back to this position and decided, okay, there is a simple queen b2, and it turns out that this is a solution, that's the best way to play. Right here, evaluation of the engine -2.5 or -3, and you might say like it's not difficult, I mean, I will say solve it in a few seconds, but honestly speaking, going for this position in a practical game, for me as an international master, it's not going to be that obvious that it's that winning, because it's possible to pick up the pawn. Yeah, the queen and the knight are pretty strong, but let's say there are some chances of this pawn running to the back rank, so I wouldn't really feel safe. And if we like generate the situations and imagine that this was a real game, making such decision will take some time and courage to make it. But yeah, I solved the task, got my 44th point probably. and it is what it is. But yeah, it's like engine kinda overestimated. So we remember the rating of this task was around 2356 or something. And right now I'm gonna show you exercises that I got later on after this one, just to prove my point that probably this task is underrated. It could easily be 2900 or 3000 on chess.com, because tasks like that has around this rating. And let's say one of the exercises is this one. This one has a rating, as I remember, 2588, which is a lot more, like 200 and plus rating points. And right here, black plays rook g8, and you can stop the video because this video actually way easier for a lot even unexperienced players, because right here, what do we consider first in the puzzles? Checks, captures, attacks. Aka forced moves. And right here we can look at, there is knight h6, which kind of deserves attention. There are some like other moves, but also the first thing that I see is that we can play queen g8, that's an option, and then after knight e7 it's a fork, and then after king going somewhere, knight e5, we just up a piece for free. This is like easy win. Maybe not for everyone, but like extra piece is very nice. Knight h6 is possible, but then the king can run away, plus there is king f8 move, and then we like not winning anything, so that's the only trap. The task is pretty easy, like basically have 2-3 checks, and one of them clearly better than the others. And next task has also less rating, but also like, I don't know, 24, 25-ish rating. And right here, it's black to play. We have only one check in the position, which is rook g6, which kind of forces white to go to the corner. And right here, it's hard to mess up. It's like two doors, and one of them is like glowing green with the right answer, which is obviously rook d1. Because if we play knight f2 first, which is also the check, then the rook can come back. And after rook d1, knight f2, here we are. This is just a mate. So yeah, that's what I wanted to show you. Could you solve the main puzzle, which was rated 2356? Do you find the rating quite fair, or it was like, I mean, too complicated for its level? So yeah, do you receive puzzles like this that you think are overrated quite often? And of course, yeah, I'm happy that I solved it, but like usually when you're warming up before solving some like tricky exercises, such tough nut in the beginning kinda surprises. So please comment down the video, like and subscribe. I would like appreciate any support, and see you in next episodes. Bye.